2022 event just took place at the Clinton Street Theater on Sunday, August the 21st. And one of the films that was featured was Wendigo, directed by Erich Foerster, we are joined with now. So, hey, Eric, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So exciting times. People had a great reaction to your film. You were nominated for the Best International Director. You finished as a finalist for Best International Director. You really did a good job. I think what was most apparent in the theater sitting there was the sound design and just the tension. It looked like you really took time to set that up. There was some planning to really create the tension, and it's like the tension's almost, the buildup is almost scarier than the peak itself. And I'm not trying to give away any details of your film because I'm really bad about that. But I got that feedback from your film that it really played well in the theater environment with the time that you took, especially with the sound. So good job.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we spent so much time prior to shooting, like in our pre-production. I worked with my sound designer and my composer, both brilliant, both absolutely brilliant. But we spent so much time trying to figure out, well, we don't want to just create sound, we are trying to create an environment. You'll see in the best example I could probably give about something like that is, um, when you watch something where they try to make the environment a character in itself, that's what we were really trying to go for.
All right. Well, you achieved it. And for those who don't know what the film is about, in your own words, could you give us a synopsis?
Yeah, Wendigo is just a short drama. It follows a young gold miner at the end of the Canadian gold rush in Klondike, Yukon. Uh, the gold rush is over, but this young gold miner, Clayton, he believes that he still has a chance at getting riches. And along the way, he finds himself at the tail end of a brutal robbery and is left for dead. And as he's rescued, he is left with a warning: beware of the monster of the woods.
All right. That's a great setup and interesting story. So, what I have to have you give a class on a synopsis, man. You like hooked everybody. Everyone's probably going to email me and be like, where can I see this movie? So, time, effort, energy, focus. You spent a lot of time doing this. Why? Why this particular film?
Yeah, so when it comes to making new content, I work really closely with most of the time, my co-producer and more importantly, my director of photography, Sarah Bernier. Absolute genius. But how our process works is she comes to me, because I love to write. I love to write, but I never know what I'm going to write. So she comes to me and she says, Eric, I want to shoot a war film, or I want to shoot a sci-fi. And in this case, she said, Eric, I want to shoot a Western. And I'm like, how are we going to do a Western in Canada? And I pondered on it a bit. We kind of went back and forth, and I decided, well, for me at least, it's not necessarily the place that makes Westerns so special. It's the time, it's the lawlessness. Um, and I was like, well, somewhere in Canada that we could really convey that, not even necessarily to a historically accurate representation, but created as our own, was the gold rush, where there's just this desolate land where it used to be this populated place filled with hope and wealth and individuals, and then it's gone. So that's where we wanted to do the Western, so to speak.
All right, interesting. I like your approach to it, and you know, I would never have thought of a Western in Canada, but I think you captured the environment. A period piece. Obviously, you had a lot of control in this environment, but you did a good job of making it feel like it was definitely in a different time and place.
Oh yeah, thank you, thank you. We worked really closely with um, Country Heritage Park. It's this park in Milton, Ontario, and they did a lot of great stuff for us to, give us the locations and make it really feel uh, like 1900.
Gotcha. Well, how did you get started? I mean, it sounds like you wore a lot of hats in the business, and sounds like you know some good people. But kind of what was your entry into, making content that people would actually, critique and look at?
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot about the people I'm around. I feel like as young filmmakers, we always start just making content, not thinking it's going to be anything more than just content. And then there's like a point where you have to make a decision. It's like, okay, well, I'm not just a film student. I'm a filmmaker. And once you kind of cross that line and you're surrounding yourself by the right people, it just becomes apparent that this is what you have to do, and you got to take these leaps. So that's kind of how that's where the content, where the drive to create comes from.
And what do you got planned for the future? What else are you working on?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you asked. Right now, we are in the midst of working on our next short film titled Blood of Ghent. It is a wartime film that takes place at the end of the War of 1812. I'll be a bit cryptic today, though.
All right, all right, sounds good. Well, talking about your future stuff, what is it that you learned maybe from Wendigo that you would take on to your next productions? What was any film school moments in this one?
You know what? I would almost say the opposite. I think with Wendigo, we went in the opposite direction of the film school approach. Not to say that there's necessarily anything wrong with the film school approach, but we wanted complete creative freedom. We wanted, we make a lot of content in school, but we decided that we didn't want oversight. We knew what we had envisioned, and we knew we could execute it. We just knew it would be a lot more work. So, I think the big thing that I learned about Wendigo is you don't necessarily have to follow all the rules that are laid out. I mean, one of the greats, Robert Rodriguez, he wrote an entire book just talking about how you don't need to listen to the norms. You can do it yourself. And I think that's something we definitely learned on this project. And I think the key to it was just the people.
Wow. Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, the work that you put into it, the experience that you brought to it, very apparent. Very good job on this. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we get out of here?
I mean, I just want to give a shout out to my team. They're the reason that this is possible. They're going to be the reason that future stuff's possible as well. I'm very grateful to all of them. And I also want to give a thank you to Oregon Screams. This is actually the first festival that Wendigo got into. So Oregon kind of lit the fire for our festival run, and it's been really exciting.
Oh man, that's great. Well, you're going to have a great festival run, man. This film's really good.
I appreciate
I'm sure you'll go on to be in many. I don't know if you checked out our others. I mean, obviously, I think beyond our network, you'll do great. But we have the Atlanta After Dark Film Festival and the Austin After Dark Film Festival, and if you get a chance to check those out, please do. But I think you're going to do great as the festival run. And anyone who really is serious about projecting horror and projecting moments that are very well produced and build that audience tension, I think your film is definitely at the top of the list. So good job.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your time today. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.